Remember when James Cameron nearly directed a Spider-Man movie?
What about when we almost got Batman Year One with Joaquin Phoenix?
Or David Goyer's Flash movie that would have starred Ryan Reynolds?
Well, if you want to learn about all the unmade superhero movies, then check out Superhero Stuff You Should Know.
Hosted by Ben Wan and Alex Ramsey, every month we cover nostalgic superhero movies with deep dives into unmade scripts, early drafts, deleted scenes, alternate cuts, concept art, novelizations, and tie-in novels.
We also interview the people involved in making the superhero films of our childhood, with our past guests including superhero actors, directors, screenwriters, and concept artists.
So remember, that's Superhero Stuff You Should Know, or Superhero SYSK on social media. Check us out on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Remember when James Cameron nearly directed a Spider-Man movie?
What about when we almost got Batman Year One with Joaquin Phoenix?
Or David Goyer's Flash movie that would have starred Ryan Reynolds?
Well, if you want to learn about all the unmade superhero movies, then check out Superhero Stuff You Should Know.
Hosted by Ben Wan and Alex Ramsey, every month we cover nostalgic superhero movies with deep dives into unmade scripts, early drafts, deleted scenes, alternate cuts, concept art, novelizations, and tie-in novels.
We also interview the people involved in making the superhero films of our childhood, with our past guests including superhero actors, directors, screenwriters, and concept artists.
So remember, that's Superhero Stuff You Should Know, or Superhero SYSK on social media. Check us out on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Katie, we are back. We finished 5 Iron February, and you had a pitch for at least a one-time thing. We'll see if this expands for the whole month. I'm not sure it will, but you suggested a thing that you wanted to call Munchie March.
It's true.
And you put together a whole PowerPoint presentation for this thing. So there's going to be a video component here. We're going to put you full screen at a certain point, but we felt it necessary to have a guest, an unwilling guest on this adventure. And I could think of no one better than one of our good friends. You spent most of San Diego Comic-Con with this man, dominating coverage of fashion and geekdom. I co-hosted a podcast for 2 years with him where we went through every single episode of the OC called White People Problems. And now he is here for the first, but certainly not the last time on the Christian Cringe podcast. The co-host of Fright School, Joe Fejeran.
Hello.
Yeah! Hello,
Peace
Joe!
Peace and blessings with you, saints.
I love this. I love this.
Oh,
yes. You have to do the quiz.
I do have to do the quiz. I just realized I forgot to pull up the questions on the quiz.
Oh my god, I'm being quizzed?
Oh, we have to figure out how Christian cringy you are.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, we have a scale.
Okay, well, I will preface this by saying I was raised Roman Catholic, so
yes.
You know, the blood of Christ washes me.
Well, so Joe, here's how it's going to work. It's 10 questions.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on your answer for the first question, that may just end the questions. You're either going to get one question or 10 questions. There's no in between. And it's 10 points for every single question if you answer it in the affirmative. Katie and I have taken the quiz. We're both a perfect 100%. So,
wow, so you're like both Christian cringy, like
yes, so
very Christian and very cringy. Okay.
Yep. So first question to kick this off, and this could end the quiz as well. But have you ever identified yourself as a Christian?
Yes.
Okay, then we can proceed. Second question is: did you ever attend youth group?
Yes.
Okay. Third question: did you ever own a "What Would Jesus Do" shirt or bracelet?
Yes.
I'm so excited for the answer to this question. Did you ever declare in some way that you were saving yourself for marriage?
No.
Okay.
Oh, alright.
Did you
I
have?
could not be. It could not leave my lips. It would just.
Faster.
It would.
You're like, I
I
don't care how
couldn't
much
do
I
it.
love God. I know I'm gonna love fucking more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have any strong opinions about a Christian band blowing up in the mainstream? This can be either overly excited about their success or calling them sellouts.
Oh no.
Okay.
The Catholics don't really do that.
No, Catholics aren't
No.
cool enough for punk bands.
Yeah.
Have you ever asked somebody how their relationship with Jesus was that day?
It always makes me laugh when we go through these questions again.
No.
Okay.
Oh,
Did you ever
I feel like that's also not a
participate?
Catholic thing.
No, that's not. No.
This
We
one
know.
might be.
Here, hold on. Here's the thing. We know what your relationship was like. If you're not good enough, it's not good enough.
Uh, Joe, have you ever participated in an awkward youth group play in front of the church?
Play? No.
Okay. I feel like there's a dot dot
there's
dot
there's
there.
a there's a caveat there.
Well, like we did for Sunday school for like CCD, they would do
Yes.
like performances, but I mean at the time it didn't feel awkward. Like it
I also
wasn't
think
like
that CCD should be considered a youth group.
Yeah, I
oh,
think
it's
that should
absolutely a
count.
youth
Yeah.
group.
I'm gonna say that's like a half a point. So you got like 5 points on that one.
Okay.
Have you have you ever held up your hand while listening to worship music?
Yes.
uh did you try to convince a friend to listen to a Christian artist by saying they were as good, if not better, than a popular mainstream artist?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
And then the last question, do you wake up on some nights in a cold sweat remembering something you said or did when you were at your most religious?
No.
Okay,
Oh,
Joe,
lucky
I may
bastard.
now.
yeah, 45%. Not bad. That's
It's pretty
Oh my
high.
not as
god, there's percentages?
yeah, you're
Yeah.
barely cringy in that.
I love that.
You're not even halfway to cringy. So, despite
Not bad.
that,
Well done.
based on that 45%, then I feel like I can conclude that you maybe didn't know that there was a world of Christian foods.
Again, like I said, I grew up Catholic. The word of God,
That was the only food you
of
needed.
the blood of Christ, the word of God and the blood of Christ. That's the
Yeah.
only 2 things we need.
So, Katie, all I knew about this was at like when I would go to Christian music festivals, there would be a very specific type of mint that they would be offering us that wasn't a Tic Tac, it was a Testament. Um,
It's
so
true.
you, I think, from what I could understand from our conversations, you had a little bit of a Charlie Day and Always Sunny deep dives, psychotic break, for lack of a better term, looking into the history
Legitimately,
of this.
there has not been like the thing. We just came from a rehearsal for a new show because Matt doesn't have enough shows.
Yeah.
And that presentation I made like 20 minutes before. This I've been working on for a couple of weeks. And it's kind of maddening. So yeah, I think I had a little bit of a break in reality.
All right.
But shall we get into it?
Yeah, let's start with your presentation.
All right.
Should I be eating the things that you sent us in the mail?
Please do, because I've got a lot of shit in here.
Okay.
Like to the point where it's like, okay. All right. So welcome to Christian consumables for Munchie March, you guys. Now, when we were first talking about this, the first thing that Matt asked me was like, what is Christian food? And trust me, I understand. That is a question that a lot of people have. The first thing that came to mind for me was the Testaments, but there is something else that you might think of when it comes to Christian food. Think fast food. What are the 2 top fast food things that you think of when you think of fast food
Well,
Christian?
obviously we're talking about Chick-fil-A, right?
Okay, that is definitely one of them. That's correct, sir. Yes, Chick-fil-A is one of them. Joe, what's the other one?
Oh, In-N-Out.
You got it. That is correct.
In-N-Out's a
Chick-fil-A.
Christian food company?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Did you not know this, Matt Kelly? Oh,
We
you're
also
not a
don't have
Californian.
In-N-Out over here, so no.
That makes sense. Okay. Well, yes. So this is kind of getting into what it means to be a Christian consumable or a Christian company. So little backstory on Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A was started in 1967 as a 24-hour diner across the street from Ford Motor Company and the Atlanta airport, started by Ben and Truett Cathy. Ben unfortunately passed away in a plane crash with their other brother Horace. So two brothers, three in total. Two of them died in a plane crash, and then the surviving member Truett then bought Ben's shares, and it became In and Out. He and his wife created In and Out. Fun fact, or sorry, not In and Out. That would be Chick-fil-A. Fun fact about this is that a lot of the marketing goes along with the red and yellow tones that we see in a lot of fast food places, because in marketing terms, that indicates hunger for some reason. It's some kind of thing. I don't know. In and Out, on the other hand, started in the late 40s with 100 square foot. It was only a 10 by 10 window. They were the first to have the two-way radios going back and forth. And for the it was the first drive-through in California. They're most known for their Bible verses on the bottom of their cups and the crossed palm trees in front of their restaurant. The crossed palm trees are not religious by any stretch of the imagination. It's just because Harry Snyder, the owner and proprietor of the original In and Out, was a fan of It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, featuring characters racing to find treasure buried under 4 palm trees planted to resemble the letter W, because each In and Out store is Harry's treasure, according to their website. Now,
Lame.
the company guidelines or their values are something that would be called a Christian company. So usually if they invoke, biblical verses or something like that in their actual company, or they are saying that they're Christ first. There's also job titles and statements of faith that sometimes go within their companies or their personal statements. And then sometimes they just straight up identify through their marketing or their donations. Now, a couple of fun facts about In and Out. In and Out. Oh God, you guys, the amount of things that goes into this is insane. In and Out is now run by a woman named Lindsay Snyder, who is the granddaughter of Harry Snyder. She, fun fact, donated $40,000 to the Republican Party. Weird.
Ah,
Also, while doing this research, I found out that she herself became the owner and CEO because I believe it was the son of Harry died in a plane crash with his EVP. And then her father, or Lindsay's father, became the CEO and owner, but then he died in the early 90s from a drug overdose. Really tragic stories about these guys. Interesting stuff. More on all of that later. Katie, why are you getting into politics? Well, that's because in the early 90s to the mid 2000s is when Christianity kind of became the high fructose corn syrup of politics, overly processed and devoid of nutrition. So I get it. I'm getting really preachy and liberal. Don't worry about it. I'm not trying to overrun this with my liberalism, but I do find it interesting that a lot of these companies and a lot of these foods are very mixed in with republicanism, and then also have a lot of plane crashes that kill their CEOs. Putting that out there. So that's all preamble to what we came here for, and it is the Testaments.
woo! Because Cyler Vince just don't cut it.
That is an ad. That is a real ad. I found it on a breakdown of Testaments. Somebody was going through it. It's like the only image I could find of what I remember Testaments being in these little like square type holders with Bible verses on the bottom. So when I went to go look into the company of Testaments, another company that I was like, I really need to know more information about it. I found little to no information about Testaments to the point that it got really fucking weird. You guys.
Well, like I want to stop here for a second
Yeah.
because Joe, I'm curious if Joe has any questions during this presentation because
Please.
I certainly have a question of, was there a need? Were people worried that their Tic Tacs weren't Christ-like enough? That they needed an alternative? Joe, at this point in the presentation, what are your thoughts?
See, I feel like I've seen Testaments, but like at the checkout at the Faith bookstore,
Yes.
like it's
Boy,
very
that's where I saw them.
because like no
Like,
one is seriously buying this as a way to, in my opinion, no
yeah.
one is seriously buying this as a way to, keep God in their mints.
Yes, like I can't imagine that I would ever in any world have seen Testaments at like my local CVS when I'm waiting to like cash out. Like it's definitely
Right?
the idea of this being for outreach purposes is an absolute fallacy. This was definitely a for us by us type situation, I feel like
Yeah.
within the Christian world.
But I feel like Christians specifically, like again, I have to as a Catholic, I feel like I have to say evangelical Protestant Christians, love to go where they're like no one needs them.
Nah.
Like they just love to go where no one needs them. And I think no one, where they don't needed them, you don't need it all of that. So you don't need it in the mint space.
I mean, wouldn't you think that, like, perhaps at one point in life, someone passed a testament to somebody in jail and they were like, I should think about my life a little bit more?
That's true. You know what? Didn't even think
Maybe?
about that. You're absolutely right. And I think that
Mm.
happened multiple times. Did you find out that while doing your research and found nothing?
Let
Also, you're
me
full
tell
screen now,
you.
just so you know.
Yes, I know. I've
Okay.
switched back.
Okay.
Beautiful OBS is working with me now. Okay. So all I found were broken websites, blocked pages, and little to no information. It felt like there was a total wipe of all of the information on this company, which I found very weird. And I thought, all right, dead end. I'll start looking up other companies. And that's why you get all the information about In-N-Out. You get all the information about Chick-fil-A because those are classic Christian food companies. But first, I had to go to Amazon to get you guys some mints because I had promised that I was going to get you guys some mints. And what we have here today is our very own the Dreidel Company Buttermint Testaments. Now, these are a little bit different. They are buttermints. They are made by the Dreidel Company, and it's the closest thing I could get to the actual candy. It was like the originals, they have Bible verses on the packaging, but I don't believe they have crosses in the actual mint, which was kind of the whole thing about Testaments, is that they had a cross in them. And I believe they're a little bit better than the chalky flavoring that Testaments had. In fact, speaking to Eric Connor, this week, he compared them to Velements, the original Testaments to Velements, which I couldn't find any of those either. So you guys get Dreidel Company. Now, I went to the Dreidel Company to ask if they had any information about Testaments because they were the only ones that I could find that actually shipped these kinds of mints. I've still yet to hear from them, so we'll find out. But the Dreidel Company itself is a lovely group of folks who supply treats and gifts to the folks around Hanukkah season, which makes sense. All right. And then I had to face the harsh reality that this was likely not something I'd ever be able to find any actual information on. But I couldn't stop asking myself, why are all these website links dead? How come I can't click on anything? And what is happening? And I'm not happy at all to report that in my frustration, things got weird and I talked to ChatGPT.
Okay.
So I asked ChatGPT very simply. I went ahead and said, hey, who invented Testaments? And it says Testaments were invented, they were Christian based, they were invented in the 90s by a guy named David Howe. And I was like, oh, okay, David Howe. So I start looking up the name David Howe, and I'm getting an art guy. I'm not getting anything related to Testaments. So I asked ChatGPT, hey, do you have a resource for this information? And of course, good old ChatGPT said, I apologize, but I couldn't locate a specific resource confirming that David Howell invented Testaments. It then gave me a website to a patent page, which I scrolled through quite a bit of patents and could not find anything about David Howell or Testaments in that matter. But it does say that none are directly related to Testaments. So that was a really fun goose chase. But it does say, however, specific details about the inventor on the company behind Testaments are not readily available in the provided resources. And so I asked it for more resources, but it could not find anything, which I thought was even weirder. So the search went a little further. Wow. I'm not kidding you. I'm like a dog with a bone with this kind of stuff, you guys. Like, I have to, like, I don't understand why none of this is adding up. So I went to eBay.
Can I just say, first of all, that this is turning out to be like the beginning of the documentary Catfish, the beginning of the documentary Tickled. Like, this is very much like
I was starting to feel tickled in a way.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly the cult of Mother God. Like, this is what is going on here, and I'm riveted. I'm literally at the edge of my seat.
I can't even interrupt. Also, just have to say, and I feel like, Joe, you'll agree with me on this. The PowerPoint presentation is just stellar. Like,
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
It's such an
I
ad.
spent too
Listen,
much
if
time on
people
it.
are only listening to the show, you need to go to the link that's
You're
on
only getting
Geekscape.
half the story.
You're only getting half the story. The Geekscape TV video is a must watch.
Don't forget to like
really
and
appreciate
subscribe.
this. Yeah.
Yes.
Legitimately, like, I was creating this like a few weeks ago because I was like, oh, I'll put my bullet points of this here, this here, this here. Like, it was a very general thing. And then as I'm like doing this research, I'm just recording all of like my notes of what I've found that day and just like, what? This is insane. And so it kind of became more and more of a thing. So going back to it, I went to eBay and I looked at people are selling these Testament tins. And on the tins, I ended up finding nutritional facts that had an address of where they were produced. And I was like, okay, sweet. I will then look up this address and see what's up. In the address, I actually ended up finding a Facebook page that has a post, their last post in 2017. Now, these are the Testaments that I know. You know, they've got the cross on them, they've got the Bible verses on the individual packaging, but this is the last place anything says on the internet about Testaments. There's no interaction, there's very few followers. They had very few posts, which I thought was really odd. When I looked up the address that was on the Facebook page as well as the back of the tin, I found a just a law firm in New Jersey, and then I also found another company that sells NFTs. And NFTs that their last post was in 2021, that they're having some kind of technical issues and they won't be launching just yet. And that's the last thing we hear from Testament in 2021 from that website, which is great. So I went back to eBay and I discovered a New York Times article that I'll just pop it up on the screen here real quick. But the New York Times article mentions a different person named Mark Bontempo. And Mark Bontempo in this article, and it's a New York Times article, so I couldn't read the entire thing, but this is the most information I could find on anything. And it starts with, he always wanted to fly the skies, but when his boyhood dream of becoming an airline pilot was thwarted, Mark Bontempo found another route to the heavens, selling candy and clothes emblazoned with verses from scriptures. All right. The fact that he was a pilot in the 90s, early 90s, but couldn't become a pilot when at least 4 CEOs and 2 pilots passed away from plane crashes. And the only way he could not become a pilot was because there wasn't enough piloting jobs. I found that really weird. But the unfortunate thing is I found that out on Wednesday night.
Oh no.
And I couldn't go much further than all of that. So I just find it very odd. This is the only information I could find was this New York Times article, which I couldn't read the entirety of. Interesting things. Apparently, he created an additional piece to an Oreo, and he called it the Dunky. So I assume it would be like to dunk the Oreo in milk, and then also you would be able to eat the Dunky.
Listen, I've had people pitch me on a similar concept called a fork, where you shove the
Mhm.
fork into the cream of the Oreo
But
for
can you eat the
a
fork?
dry hand. But this is like an edible thing that you're eating. Oh.
Yeah, apparently. But they didn't buy it. So he went off to go pitch it to Ben and Jerry.
I saw the names Ben and Jerry in that article, the brief couple
Yeah.
paragraphs that were on the screen.
This man's in the food circuit, but he's also a pilot. What?
He's a mover
So
and a shaker, Katie. He
he's
can't
a
be
mover
held
and a
down.
shaker. He's a mover and a shaker. He's got a lot going for him. I did find him on LinkedIn. And I messaged him.
Oh!
He's yet to respond.
Ah!
That was the last update. Was last night, because I literally, up until the recording of this, I was still looking for more information because there's so many interesting crossovers with other companies. There's also a lot of weird stuff when it comes to Republican donations, and there's also a lot of interesting things when it comes to like the pilots and stuff. It's one of those things that I was like, I didn't have enough time in the 2 weeks I was researching Testaments to find out any proper information. It was absolutely bonkers wild. And when I found out that he was that he was a pilot, that I was just like, I don't know what to make of all of this. So I continued on my search of
Jose.
different
Can we just highlight the header for this article, which is
callings. The gospel with
callings.
sugar on top.
What?
Okay, hold on. First of
Please,
all, so
please.
like rhetorically, right? Rhetorically, and I say this as, a person who has a degree in communications, my liberal arts degree.
Please.
Rhetorically, it implies that the gospel is a bunch of lies. Like,
Yeah.
You're not wrong. That is the interesting part of that article, but I couldn't do more
they
research on it.
really owned themselves there, right? Like people always joke about like, they like one way to like own the libs. Like, people really do tell on themselves this way.
That was an article from '98. So who knows? Who knows? Good old New York Times. I could do more research on who wrote it and what they had on, but there wasn't enough time, you guys.
I love that even that article is hidden behind a paywall, as if they could be missing. They couldn't lose a single penny.
It is legitimately the
Wow.
only like hard evidence that I have that Mark Bontempo is the creator. I guess he was a CEO, but then he like at some point transitioned to regional sales according to his LinkedIn page, which was also interesting because I would click on the company and there's no information. There's no one that he's at a completely different company now. I have no more information on him, which sucks. But I did find out about a couple of other Christian food companies. But go ahead.
I want to throw out one thing for the kids that might be watching here. Katie is showing us a brilliant example of why you can't trust ChatGPT to help you with your research. ChatGPT couldn't find the information that Katie Hampton was able to deep dive with her investigative journalistic ways.
I used to work for a headhunting company, so
Yeah. No.
Hunt is in the word. Hunt is in the title.
When I have a burning question, I keep I don't think I'm going to stop looking into Testaments when this podcast is done, even though we've reached the limit of my information on what Testaments were.
Well, Katie, you've added a new segment to the show, which is just going to be called Testament Time, where you can just
We
fill
get
us
an
in on
update.
updates whenever you have them.
Yeah. I know. I know. Um, so Joe, I really wanted to reach into my back pocket here and like find some other stuff, but I wanted to show both of you boys um, a list of companies, and I wanted to ask you if you knew which one of these is a Christian company. So I'm going to show you a couple of different little logos here. We've got George Foreman, we've got Forever 21, we've got Ezekiel 49 Bread, we've got Tom's of Maine, and Curves. Do we have any idea,
Well,
Joe or
I
Matt?
feel like the Ezekiel is an obvious red herring. I feel like you're trying to draw us to pick that one. I'm going to say that I think that we're going to be surprised and find out that Forever 21 is in fact a Christian company.
Joe,
I'm
what are
gonna
your thoughts?
say, well, I'm gonna say, uh, just because I really hope it's not, but this would be the one I would be most upset that it is if it was Christian. So I'm just gonna go with that. I really hope it's not, but I'm gonna go with Curves.
I'm going to throw a second option, which is that this is a sneaky all the above.
Yeah, that's also what I think too. So I'm
It is sort of that. It is all of the above except for Ezekiel 49 Bread.
I knew it. I knew that that was the red herring in this group.
So they personally do not identify as a Christian company, but that's also not to say that they basically took an Old Testament scripture, which is Ezekiel 4:9, that basically says like eating it sounds like a baking recipe, and that's why they did it, because they're like, we want people to have like more grains and things included, and so it's not an actual Christian company because they don't have anything in their values or in their, protests or their donations or anything like that. So Ezekiel 49 bread is just like really good healthy bread apparently.
Okay.
But George Foreman apparently, so these are like, also this is where it kind of gets a little bit interesting and dicey too, because George Foreman of the George Foreman Grills. He himself was not a Christian at the time. He also was not the inventor of the George Foreman Grill. He was
Yeah.
just the face of it, and he would sell it. And then he got the name of it. Then, while he was doing all this, he became Christian. And so now George Foreman Grills calls their company a Christian company for some reason, which I thought was interesting and odd. I don't see anything in their values or whatever that state
Well, it's because with
anything.
that grill, you cook the hell out of that meat.
That's right.
but
Hey! Forever 21, this is the most wild one of them all. They're called a Christian company because they have John 3:16 on the bottom of their bags, which I didn't realize.
Nope.
But
Didn't know that.
the reason that they're called a Christian company is because the founder of Forever 21 said that she got a message from God saying that she was going to open a store and it would be popular.
Cool.
So that's their Christianism. Curves and Toms apparently also had like been Christian, or like they had Christian things in them. It was a little unclear why they were considered a Christian band or a Christian company. But it was sort of similar to George Foreman stuff, where it was just like, yeah, we're Christian. It's not a big deal. Some other surprises that I'd like to show you. We're going into my favorite part, and this is also the last of it. Let's see. Didn't see that coming. It is Wendy's, Carl's Jr., and Tyson Foods.
I actually knew Wendy's.
Yeah, that one
Because
kind of surprised me.
see that one I remember because that was like before we had like a Chick-fil-A on every corner.
Yes.
That was like oh, after church, let's go to Wendy's because they're like the Christian fast food spot. Like Dave
that
Thomas was a Christian. Like I just knew that. I forgot that I knew that, but when that popped up, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. We would go there because of that back in the day.
I'm kind of shocked about Carl's Jr. It feels very biblical too because it's like Hardee's called Carl's Jr. Like,
Right.
it's very
So with that one was actually Dave, who started Wendy's. It was in their values. They're not doing things like Tyson Foods, who has, I think, 120 preacher pastors on their books
Oh,
to pray over people. And also, I believe they have to recite the Pledge of Allegiance and a prayer every morning before their like meetings.
hate that.
Yeah.
before they slaughter the chickens.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Well,
Something. Yeah.
Okay.
God damn it. They have some of the better chicken.
They
Very
do have really good
upsetting.
chicken. They do.
When it comes to
There's a
chicken that I'm
bird
going to
flew around.
microwave. Yeah. God.
Yeah. Oh
damn.
yeah. Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, those crispy tenders in an air fryer. Oh, solid
Or just
stuff.
the little teeny like buttermilk biscuit with a tiny piece of chicken in the center from Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Oh.
There you go.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
I'm not having that anymore though.
Yeah. um so yeah, that was my harried research on Christian foods and testaments. Forgive me for the long presentation.
Well, I think that was the exact right length of that presentation, and it had twists and turns, and frankly, I love it.
Have either of you seen I haven't seen it, so I don't know if it's a real documentary, but there is a documentary trailer that I saw last year called Seeking Mavis Beacon.
No.
No, I don't know that
It's
one.
like two young black girls that are like looking for Mavis Beacon of the Mavis Beacon like typing program that taught kids how to type like on computers in the beginning of like getting
Yeah.
computers and the internet.
Yeah, that
Um,
sounded familiar. Yeah.
I feel like you have something here, and I think that you need to write it up and start shopping it out because I think Testaments this is gonna be what was that one weird show on Netflix where it was like the town like got poisoned by this cult. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
I
Wild
think I
Country.
do.
Wild Country,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, we need to do that. Like this is a Wild Country scenario.
It does feel like there's way more to this story, and hopefully I just, hear back from the former CEO and we
Well,
get the real story. Or, you
Yeah.
know what, maybe I just pay the dollar or whatever it is to get that full New York Times article. But it's very weird to me that it feels like every known fact about this company has been scrubbed from the internet, which is a hard thing to do, but it
that's
did
really
start in the
weird.
night. But yeah, it's weird to me because it just seems like there's literally no information except for a pay to play article um from the
I
New York
I
Times.
have I have a fascinating testament story for you guys real quick.
Yes.
As we are recording at
Yeah.
this time, we're going to timestamp this, right? As of the time that we're recording this, the most recent episode of our show that dropped was our newest album ever for Five
Nice.
Iron February. I
Yes.
just got a text from past guest Andy
Okay.
saying, "Hey man, really enjoying the coverage. Loved your episode on our newest album ever." And I responded, "We're actually in the middle of recording an episode about the history of Testaments and how every piece of info about them has been fully wiped from the internet." And he said, "Did you know that Tom Waits talked about Testaments on David Letterman once? That's what the
What?
song Chocolate Jesus is about."
Okay. Here's the other thing, Matt, and I even texted Matt this yesterday. I was like, I won't have enough time to talk about Chocolate Jesus now. Um because that was a whole other deep dive that I went down because I was like, oh, things just got really cool and interesting because there's so many of these. Tom Waits came out with a song called Chocolate Jesus. I believe it was in 1990.
Yeah.
Or something around there. Um, and then there were all these sort of like protest artists that were creating these big chocolate Jesus displays, like very crucifix adjacent, something that you might be familiar with, Joe. And it was a whole wave of like protest art on top of people just starting to create companies to make chocolate Jesuses. And those were the ones that I also tried to find on Amazon. I couldn't find any chocolate. I did find a chocolate cross that had like jelly beans in the base of it that I nearly sent you guys, but I think it was a little expensive. So I was like,
These
maybe not.
lyrics, I'm just looking at the lyrics to Tom Waits' song Chocolate Jesus, and I just want to read these lyrics in the second verse. I don't need no Abba Zaba, and I don't want an almond joy, because there ain't nothing better and suitable for this boy. It's the only thing that can pick me up better than a cup of gold. See, only the chocolate Jesus can satisfy my soul. Like,
Yeah, no, man, there's literally I need a like a chalkboard or a cork board or something that's like, okay, so Tom Waits makes this song. Then in 93, these two plane crashes happen for separate Christian companies. It's weird. And like there's a bigger story here that I'm not sure where it leads.
Joe, what's this that you just texted us?
Well, I decided that in the spirit of charity, I decided to, and charity not like in the, Sean Hunter, we don't take charity, but like in the spirit of Christian charity. I went ahead and just paid the whatever it costs to
Joe,
get behind that paywall. Like the devil, get behind me paywall. And
yes.
I downloaded the article for you
Oh
on the
my God,
Testamints
yes.
founder.
Dude.
So I've sent it
Oh,
all to you, to everybody
Wow.
in this screen. And now we are reading it. And
okay. Let me get to there's page 2, which is the page that I was really hoping to read further on, but it starts off as often happens with entrepreneurs, the inspiration for his next product began with a problem he encountered in everyday life. A devout Christian, Mr. Bontempo distributed religious pamphlets as part of a local street ministry. Most people discarded them almost immediately, and he wondered what he could do to change that. I was sitting at my desk when it hit me like a bag of nickels, he said.
I love this man.
Testaments. Candies bearing the Lord's message. Okay, so it was a flyer. It was something to pass out that like people could actually use as okay. I'm very excited to read
Did
more
you
of
see
this,
the
but I don't
next
want to do it
sentence
right
where it
here.
says, so
What is
confident that he had a winner that he quit his job and flew to Chicago? Could you imagine?
did he fly or did he
But could you just imagine being like Testaments and then just walking into your boss's office and being like, I quit? And like,
No, because there's also another company called Commandmints that have
oh,
a similar thing. I don't know if he's attached to that or not. The patent page was kind of confusing, but it was in similar time frame, Testaments and Commandments.
whoa. Okay. That collectible tin that you showed us,
Yes,
that was sold on QVC.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
That was like a
Yeah.
QVC
Well,
thing.
because almost everyone I've talked to has at least heard or like experienced Testaments, but I can't find anyone who's like seen them since
Yeah.
maybe the early 90s or early 2000s. So what happened?
Wait, hold on a second. What's the? I'm at the very bottom.
Oh my
So
gosh.
last paragraph. I'm going to read
Joe,
this
thank
last
you for
paragraph.
this.
you're welcome.
Spreading the gospel to the masses, of course, is a 2,000 year long enterprise. But lately, and evangelicalism has gone commercial in a big way with sales of Christian music, fiction, and clothing, and now even candy. Um, says Mr. Bontempo, a supplement not so long ago today plays the role of deal maker. And he said, last month, a guy came into my office and says he wants to put a verse on the side of Chapstick and call it Chapters. And now we're 50-50 partners. So I've, based on everything we've learned, I think Chapters may have tanked the whole company.
That was the last of it.
Never saw Chapters.
I never saw Chapters either. I'm sure they were sold in the like Christian bookstores and stuff.
Maybe.
That seems like the main thing. But how are the dreidel companies Testaments?
They're fine. Powdery. I mean, I have people coming over next Friday. I'll be like, hey guys, who wants some like novelty Christian Bible verse mints? And get those moving.
They taste like I expected them to. Like they're like funeral mints. Like they taste like the
Yeah,
mints that you get at a funeral. And because they have messages on them, and I do what I do with like a bag of fortune cookies. It's like I picked one at random, and I was like, I put intention to it. I was like, what does the Lord want from me? What's the Lord's message for me? And so I ate the mint as we were in the first part of this, and I have the message here.
Oh.
The Bible verse is Psalms 46:1. God is our refuge and strength and ever present help in trouble. And if that is not a message for the current time that we are in,
I don't know
I
what
don't
is.
know what is.
Well, Katie, first off, thank you so much for your beautiful PowerPoint presentation. Again, Geekscape TV on YouTube to see the video version of this week's episode. Joe, before we sign off, if people were having a blast listening to your feedback and they want to shower you with the level of generosity you showered us by buying
Yes.
that New York
New York
Times
Times.
article
From 1998.
from 1998, where can they go to check out more of Joe Fejeran?
Was that a reference to shower me with your love? Is that what that is? Like
Not intentionally, but sure.
okay, okay. Well, I hope that you all, like I said, you can catch me on old episodes of the now ended, not defunct, just ended, White People Problems and OC Recap podcast, where we talk more about Judaism than we do Christianity.
Yeah.
You can also find me on my quote unquote main show of Fright School, which is a queer horror podcast. I forget how many years ago it was, probably 21 or 22, 2021 or 2022. But I did an entire unit of Catholic horror films. So
Of which there are many.
Of which there are many, and it was mainly an excuse to talk about Midnight Mass because anyone who has met me in the last 5 years knows that like that's the only thing I really want to talk about. So go out and check those out, and yeah, that's where you can find me.
All right, and Katie, we'll be back with more Christian cringe next Sunday.
Remember when James Cameron nearly directed a Spider-Man movie?
What about when we almost got Batman Year One with Joaquin Phoenix?
Or David Goyer's Flash movie that would have starred Ryan Reynolds?
Well, if you want to learn about all the unmade superhero movies, then check out Superhero Stuff You Should Know.
Hosted by Ben Wan and Alex Ramsey, every month we cover nostalgic superhero movies with deep dives into unmade scripts, early drafts, deleted scenes, alternate cuts, concept art, novelizations, and tie-in novels.
We also interview the people involved in making the superhero films of our childhood, with our past guests including superhero actors, directors, screenwriters, and concept artists.
So remember, that's Superhero Stuff You Should Know, or Superhero SYSK on social media. Check us out on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.